Well. Um, NFL's back. Well, in some cases, it's back because we got the official schedule release for all 32 NFL teams. Now, I will probably end up making a video in terms of talking about some just a regular NFL video talking about some pretty big highlights or some pretty big highlighted games and things like that. It's stuff like that. So obviously I'll make a video about that. But this is strictly my NFL, I meant this is strictly my Chicago Bears schedule review, I guess, of the schedule after they revealed the schedule. So we already knew who the Bears were going to be playing this year. It's just we didn't know in what order. So basically, I'm just going to give you a prediction on what I think the Bears record could potentially be. Again, if I say the Bears could finish 12-4, well, who knows? They again, some of these teams I see, we won't know how they play in the season. We don't know if some of these teams will have a drop off. We don't know if some of these teams will be better than expected. I'm just going off of what I saw last year and the players that they acquired and how good they could potentially be. So, one, if you're one also wanted to get my thoughts on the Bears schedule drop video because every team does that. I liked it. Basically, it was a classroom setting, and things like that. So that was kind of the thing. There was some kind of like funny mentions or funny things. Like I think the one guy who's been like who's the viral Bears guy. Um, he was wearing like an XFL Los Angeles Wildcats outfit and things like that. Most of the star of the show in this was DJ Moore. So that's basically the thing right then and there. So hey, listen, it was a nice schedule reveal. It was funny, um, hilarious. So you'll definitely take it. Anyways, let's get now. Actually, I gotta say, I'll probably talk more about it in my NFL thing, but again, I haven't seen how the others. I've only seen how the Falcons won and then the Chargers won. I haven't seen how the other teams have dropped their ones. But again, the Chargers. If you have not seen the Chargers one, the Chargers schedule drop. I don't know how they do it every single year, man. I don't know how they do it. The Chargers social media team, when it comes to dropping their NFL schedule release, it's the best in the business. It's the best in the game. Now that's funny because the Chargers are and it have been an average to mediocre team. We'll see what Jim Harbaugh does over there. But if there's one thing that social media team can do really effectively, if there's one thing that they deserve Super Bowl champs over or just a championship for, it would be social media team. Social media, they got the best social media team in the league. If only the product on the field was a little bit better the past few years, well then who knows? But we'll see how they do at some point. Anyways, the Bears, let's look at their schedule. So, week 1, they played the Tennessee Titans at home. It is a regular 12 p.m. game, so you will take it. So, what are my thoughts? We should beat the Tennessee Titans. Yes, the Tennessee Titans made some moves. They improved their defense. They got L'Jarius Sneed. They got some offensive weapons out there after the departure of Derrick Henry. Thank God Derrick Henry's gone. My God. We had to play the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry on that roster still. Holy hell. But you get my point. They added some weapons for Will Levis, but regardless, at the end of the day, this is going to be a big game. A big game. And what I mean by big game is the Bears need to do the opposite of what they did last year at the start of the season when they played Green Bay, where they didn't come out obviously prepared to play a football game. You remember that game at the start of last year. We thought it was going to be our time to start running this Packers-Bears rivalry, and these guys came out flat. These guys came ill-prepared to come out there and go win a football game, if not just play a football game. Honestly, this is a statement game. This is a statement game. It's not a statement game for Matt Eberflus, or not for Caleb Williams. It's a statement game for Matt Eberflus. And the reason why I say that is this. Is he going to have his team prepared to play this year? Because if he comes out and the Bears end up laying an egg, The first guy I'm going to blame is Matt Eberflus. How do you not have these guys ready to play? How do you not have these guys ready? I'm not saying this is going to be an easy matchup. This should be a blowout victory. The Titans have improved their team where they got some talent. But regardless, at the end of the day, we should beat the Tennessee Titans. They're still a team in the mix of finding themselves. They got a new head coach. They're basically rebuilding or retooling, I guess you can say. And here's the number one thing. You want to get pressure on Will Levis. Make him make bad decisions. He may got guys like DeAndre Hopkins, guys like Calvin Ridley, guys like the receiver they drafted a few years back, Treylon Burks. They got some weapons. I forgot who their running back is, but whatever. Defensively, obviously they got L'Jarius Sneed, who is not going to be an easy thing, but here's the thing. We got the weapons for days. And also, I think this team should run the ball heavily and let Caleb Williams ease into this game. And again, it's a big game because it's Caleb Williams' first game as Chicago Bear. It's Caleb Williams' home debut. You want to put on a show. You want to have the Chicago Bear fans going happy. So if these losers come out ill-prepared to win, ill-prepared to play a football game, well, then you'll be hearing a rant week frickin' 1. This should be an easy W. Well, I won't say easy W, but this should be a W. This should be a win. So the Bears go 0-1. Should be off 0-1. Following that, the Bears have a Sunday night football game against the Houston Texans, which is another big reason why the Bears need to beat the Tennessee Titans. You cannot lose to the Tennessee Titans and then go into the Sunday night game against the Texans. Down, and then I'm just going to be honest, we're losing that game. That will probably somewhat be Caleb Williams' welcome to the NFL moment because, again, DeMeco Ryans' defense is fierce. Offensively, with the weapons they got, that will be crazy. My best case scenario is this. The Bears lose in a close game shutout. That's the best case scenario. They lose in a close game shutout. Caleb Williams overcomes that DeMeco Ryans' defense, and he puts on a damn show offensively. Shane Waldron calls his ass off. It's just maybe it goes down to one final drive. The Texans have the final ball, and they go down, either score a touchdown or kick a field goal. Yeah, I'll probably be pissed at the end of the day, but here's the thing. I'll expect it because the Texans are a better team than the Bears currently right now. And honestly, they proved it last year. This will be a fun game to watch nationally. National televised game. Fun game to watch. CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams, especially the Bears offense brings it on a Sunday night primetime game. That's what I hope for all the primetime games we got this year. I just hope the Bears show up on primetime games because we know last year the Bears barely showed up on primetime games last year. So we'll see. We'll see. I actually got that as a loss. So the Bears, by the time they face the Colts, and they're at the Colts in Indianapolis, rematch of 2006 Super Bowl. And this will be another young quarterback matchup, Caleb Williams versus Anthony Richardson coming off his injury. Even if we're on the road, I think we can win the game. Yeah, the Colts were impressive. They were a team that was pushing on the edge of the playoffs, and they were a good team last year. But again, I still chalk it up. Anthony Richardson, you can somewhat say he is still somewhat a rookie quarterback. He got hurt, although he played solid football before he got hurt. Still, you can say he's rookie. I hope the defense gets after him. Obviously, he's got the scramble ability. That's going to be an obvious issue. So the Bears defense is going to have to clearly contain him. I can't really name anybody from that. Really, I can't really name anybody from that Colts defense. So, regardless, we should win. We should win this game. I think this is a very winnable game. Winnable game. I think we can beat the Colts. So, on my record books, I got us going 2-1. Then we play the Los Angeles Rams in Chicago. Now, I wish this was later in the year, to be honest, actually, because that's when the cold kicks in. And if you remember back in 2018, the last time we played the Rams in Chicago, well, we basically won that game alone because it was freezing freaking cold out there, and the Rams didn't couldn't beat couldn't capitalize, and they couldn't handle the cold, and they were clearly affected by the cold. Plus, it was Sunday night game too. But the Rams, even though they have a talented offense, they got Cooper Kupp. They got a bunch of other solid receivers out there. Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford out there, former player we faced. I'm going to say we win just barely. I say we win just barely. I think if the defense can get a few stops, maybe 1 or 2 stops against the Rams, and then the offense can do what good. Now, Raheem Mostert, their defensive coordinator, he's gone. They lost Aaron Donald. So the defense is a solid defense, but obviously you take away Aaron Donald, well, we'll see how that defense plays. Again, I don't know what the Rams will look like by week 4. They could be really damn good on offense, of course, but then really pathetic on defense because of just the loss of Aaron Donald alone is so huge. And they really don't have any really big names on that defense. They got some solid names up there. Again, I know I live in California, but I don't know anything going on with the Rams in terms of their defense. But I honestly think, but I do know that they drafted one of the I think Jared Verse basically to kind of be somewhat Aaron Donald replacement. But regardless, I think we should win this game. I think it's a winnable game on it. Now, I could easily see us losing this game. But I'm going to say the Bears find a way, they win this game, which makes us 3-1 on the season. Now, shockingly, I thought we would actually be going over to Carolina, but it seems like the Carolina Panthers are going to be coming back for another game to play us again, or to Chicago. So, yes, we got another home game against the Carolina Panthers. The NFL is just clearly just like, all right, here we go. Last year's matchup was so great, but here's the difference. This year, the Bears got basically the quarterback that they basically got thanks to the Carolina Panthers. If it wasn't for the Carolina Panthers trading DJ Moore, and if it wasn't for the Carolina Panthers trading us the pick in that haul, and if it wasn't for the Carolina Panthers losing all those games they did last year, well, the Bears don't have Caleb Williams. If this is not the NFL's way of immediately putting up Caleb Williams versus Bryce Young, aka the quarterback the Panthers could have potentially had if they just had not traded the pick away and they just tanked for another season, potentially, who knows what happens? They would still have DJ Moore, and they would probably potentially maybe have Caleb Williams if they were as bad last year and they still had their first round pick. So there's that. If that's not the NFL, it's just saying at massive FU. That's simple as that. Now, do I think the Carolina Panthers will be an improved team over what they were last year? Yes. New coaching staff. They got more weapons for Bryce Young. So I think he'll probably be a little bit more effective, especially the fact that Bryce Young saw this defense from last year. I would envision they'd be watching tape from last year's Thursday night game and seeing how can they beat the Bears this go around. But regardless, I think the Bears should beat the Carolina Panthers. This honestly should be a blowout game, to be honest. I ain't giving a shit anymore. This should be a blowout game. Caleb Williams basically puts on a show. The defense shuts down Bryce Young like they did last year, and they win. Now, if the Bears lose to the Carolina Panthers, I'm going to have some fucking problems now. I'm not going to lose to this team. The last thing I need to hear is Carolina Panther fans start talking their massive shit, thinking they won a game because blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, they lost everything. So beat these guys and put the dang Panthers out of their misery. And hopefully we don't have to see them for a few more years. And hopefully by that time we ever play them again, they're actually good. I'm not going to be happy to see this matchup because that means I've just had to get up early because I live in California. The Bears get their London game, their freaking game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only bummer in this matchup is I guess Justin Fields ain't here, so we couldn't see Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence. But I guess you're gonna get Caleb Williams versus Trevor Lawrence. But basically, we're playing, even though it's considered an away game, and it's really truly an away game because Jaguars have been always affiliated with London, and plus their owners always like going over to London and things like that. I think they're even from there, the Khan family. So the reason why I don't like this because I have to wake up like super early just to get up, watch this game. A game that's probably gonna be on NFL Network or whatever place it is that they need to be accessible. So in a weird way, it's kind of a prime time game too. So we got to go play the Jaguars in London, England. I hope we never have an international game again. Never. I don't know if my Uncle Daryl is going to be going to the game, but we'll see. I'll have to ask him at some point. So we'll be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know how the Jaguars will play because last year the Jaguars were very inconsistent. Yes, Trevor Lawrence got hurt and that played to the inconsistencies, but the Jaguars were a pretty inconsistent team, so you don't know what you're going to get. Regardless, honestly, I think the Bears and the Jaguars are on equal footing, but I'll take the Bears slightly beating the Jaguars. So I have us beating the Jaguars. But you know what? I'm going to actually say the Jaguars beat us. I'm going to say the Jaguars beat us. I'll say the Jaguars going to beat us. So we're going to be 4-2. 4-2. I'll just give that away. And plus, if we lose this game, we go into the bye week. So for week 7, we have a bye week, which I think is good. Which is actually I think it's pretty good that they're giving us a bye week after a game in London because I feel like if they were to the Bears were to play a game after playing in London, that's just a brutal stretch. That is just a brutal stretch because you travel to another country, different time zones, and then readjusting right back to the America time zone. That's a brutal stretch. So luckily the NFL gives us a relatively damn good bye. Plus, it's the bye is in the first half of the season, pretty early on in the season. I like that too. Then after the bye week, we play the Washington Commanders again in Washington. And if we all remember what happened last year in Washington, we absolutely destroyed their asses. And that was with Justin Fields and DJ Moore absolutely tearing themselves up. This time they got to deal with DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen's healthy at this point in the season. And plus, they'll have Caleb Williams too. Now, obviously, Justin Fields last year roasted their defense, but I would think Caleb Williams could also roast this defense. Now, the only difference is Ron Rivera is not the defensive coordinator. It's freaking Dan Quinn, and he's more of an aggressive defensive mind. So, yeah, and then obviously the big allure of this matchup, which it's shocking on this game's not a primetime game by any stretches and the means, is the fact that it's the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick. Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. We should beat the Commanders. We should beat the Commanders. I think this will be a close game that the Bears find a way to win because I think the Commanders will be like, well, whatever Commander players were there last year will basically be like, all right, they kicked our asses last year. Let's try to make it respectable this year. So that's the thing. Then after the so that what I would say that would put us at 5-2. After the Washington Commanders game, we go to Arizona. Technically, I could make the drive out to that game to go watch that game if I wanted to. If I want to, if I want to go drive out to Arizona, I technically can. Now, I don't know if I would make that drive, but maybe I'll think about it. Even though technically Arizona is pretty far. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. They play the Arizona Cardinals, much improved. They'll have Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to be an animal to stop right then and there. So Jalen Johnson's going to have to be on him. Their offense is much improved. They were playing hard defense. And again, we played, I believe we played, we played them a little. Yeah, we played the Cardinals last year. We played the Cardinals last year. Hold on, let me see. Did we lose to the Cardinals last year? I'm sorry, I can't remember this crap. Bears Cardinals. No, we beat the Cardinals last year. Now that game was now that game the difference was that game was at home, so we'll see. It's in Arizona, but I think this is still a doable game where we can win. Yes, the Cardinals play hard. They are a good coach team. They'll have much improved talent. Kyler Murray will be fully healthy with Marvin Harrison Jr. Their tight end is pretty damn good. Their defense is a solid defense. But I still think the Bears can win. So I'm going. So at that point, it's 6-2. We'll have a 6-2 record. Then we'll have a home game against my boy Matt's New England Patriots, which will be the number 1 overall pick versus the number 3 overall pick, Caleb Williams versus Drake May. Now, the last time we played the Patriots, we played them on Monday Night Football, and we absolutely embarrassed them. Again, Justin Fields was the head man. And that's when we thought they figured something out. Luke Getsy figured out something out with Justin Fields. With the fact that the Patriots are depleted and they got nothing on offense, they ain't got nothing on defense, this should be an easy win. This should be my second blowout win I should see on the schedule. The Bears should absolutely blow out the New England Patriots because they ain't got nothing left. Drake May will be surrounded by a bunch of nobodies. They should get to him. Effective confidence. And again, this isn't Bill Belichick that the Bears are going up against. They're going up against, obviously, a head coach in Gerard Mayo, who I think will do a good job in New England. But regardless, this should be an absolute complete blowout. I'm sorry, man, if you're watching this video. Then we have the next game, the vaunted game against the Green Bay Packers. It's at home. For my sanity, I hope it's a close game. Now, what do you think I'm going to say? What do you think the outcome's going to be? I'm going to say we lose this game. Because until further notice, and actually, you can even say that for the week 18 matchup, we're going to lose that game too. So technically, I have us right now at 7-4. The only reason why I'm not picking the Bears to win a Green Bay Packers game is simple. I need to see it to believe it. I need to see it to believe it. Here's the thing. I hope Caleb Williams plays good against the Packers defense. Don't do too much. Run the ball. Don't do too much. The difference is they won't have an inexperienced or a terrible defensive mind. They'll have a new defensive coordinator. So we don't know how their defense will be under a new defensive coordinator. But I think we should have the weapons enough to be able to be close with them. The question is, can Matt Eberflus' defense actually do something? And can Matt Eberflus play call his defense as if he's not trying to run away from Matt LaFleur? And I hope he don't coach as if he's coaching scared. Get after this dude. Get after Jordan Love, damn it. The more we can get them, try to affect the pass rush and try to get the ball out of his hands faster, I will take it. But I don't see us being the Packers either at any point this season until we actually do see them. Now, the Bears could potentially find a way to win this game at home, but until further notice, I don't. I hope Caleb Williams starts this as the change of the tide in terms of getting this rivalry turned around in a way to where he's not on the losing end, he's on the winning end. And I hope, regardless, even if we do go on defeat, he puts up good stats against the Packers. Because I'm tired of the Chicago Bear quarterbacks not doing virtually nothing. Then we have a home game against the Vikings. I think we can win that game. JJ McCarthy will probably be starting, but I think the Bears defense will get to him. It'll affect him. And I think we can win that game. So I have the Bears right now at 8-4. Our next primetime game, sadly, on my birthday. So I'm going to be stressing out watching the Chicago Bears on my birthday on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, they just had to make us play the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Because why not? Let's have Caleb Williams play the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day on a primetime game. Let's have everybody see the new look Chicago Bears. And if they live up to the hype, well, it's going to be a damn good game. Why? I wanted to have my Thanksgiving Day / birthday just absolutely stress-free. Now I'm going to be stress-free wearing my Caleb Williams jersey on Thanksgiving Day in the frickin' morning, basically shutting on my TV while the food's being cooked. Really? Why, NFL? Why? And this is like the third time in like 4 or 5 years we played the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Can we start with Bears versus Lions on Thanksgiving Day? Is that going to be the new tradition? Because I always know then one of the traditions the Bears always play in terms of NFC North opponents is this. We usually play which I'll talk about in a minute. We'll usually play the Minnesota Vikings on a Monday Night Football game, whether it's home or away. Usually, it's away. We have an away matchup on Monday Night Football, like we did last year in Minnesota, and then also too, we always have the Sunday night NBC game against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau on Sunday night. Funny fact, the last game of the season is TBD. So what's a perfect game to flex out to 8:20 NBC Sunday Night Football? Oh wait, let's get Caleb Williams in his first experience in Lambeau Field against the Packers. That's a great matchup because we know what happens when the Bears go to Lambeau on primetime TV. They don't show up. Is this the next NFC North team tradition? We just got to play on a yearly basis. The Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Because it's already bad enough we always play the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football. It's bad enough we always play the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Now we got to play the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. That's the holiday. That's the tradition now. Every time. I kid you not. We play the Detroit Lions legitimately like the last 3 seasons or so like that on Thanksgiving Day. No, I don't want to watch the Bears on Thanksgiving Day. I'd like to do it. Now, the good thing is it leads them to having a mini bye and blah, 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 blah. Especially with the fact that they're going to need it because then they play the San Francisco 49ers. So one, I got the Bears losing the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, which will put them at, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7-4. 7-4, counting 2 Packer games. Then they play the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. As much as I would love the Bears to beat the San Francisco 49ers, I don't think we have the talent to beat the San Francisco 49ers. I think we'll lose to these guys. So that will put us at 7-5, which will put us in a very critical stretch to potentially make the playoffs because I expect the Bears to make the playoffs. That's not sugarcoating anything. And this will make these next 4 games pretty damn important. But if I take out the Packer game as a loss, well, that makes the next 3 games important. Following the 49ers game, we have an away game on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. Another NFC North team tradition that we got to do. I think we lose this game. Because it's on the road. Brian Flores will have a good game plan to coach against Caleb Williams. But if we somehow win, I will take it. But I think we lose this game, which will have us at 7-6. Then we got to play Detroit at home. I think that's a winnable game. Anytime we have a home game, even against Detroit, I think we can win. So that will put us at 8-6. Then we play Seattle on Thursday night. So Shane Waldron goes up against his former team. I think that's a winnable game. I don't know how Seattle will do. I don't know how Seattle will play this year, but I think that's a very winnable that's a winnable game. That is a winnable game. So that will put us at 9-6. And that's the day after Christmas Day. So I think the Bears get a post-Christmas Day victory, which will put us at 9-6. And that will lead us into the vaunted matchup against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, which I would guess that the Bears are, if you take out that one loss I added on, the Bears will be 9-5. 9-5 going into what I would probably think is a playoff potential implication game when you think about it. So, of course, now thinking about it, that might be a Sunday night football game because it will be like, well, who knows? Based on whatever the Packers are doing, it could potentially be Bears versus Packers. Winner gets in the playoffs. And this will be now, if that happens, that's a put up or shut up moment. We have a chance to knock the Packers out of the playoffs like we had the chance to do it last year, but we didn't show up. But this time, if it's win, we get in. If that's the case, if we lose the week 1 matchup, or if we lose that week, the first matchup against the Packers, I will say the Bears win. Somehow they find a way to win in Lambeau and upset the Packers and send their asses packing home. If that ends up becoming that playoff implication. But if it doesn't, but I won't be equally shocked if they lose the game, which will have them finishing at 9-7. Hold on. Win, 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 win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold on. Okay, back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by this time, if my schedule predictions hold up rightly, the Bears could be 10-6 at the end of the year if they end up losing. If they end up losing the Packers game, they could be 10-6. But if the schedule plays out that way, and if they somehow beat the Packers in one of them Packers matchup, they could end up being 11-5. I just hope the Bears aren't worse than what I just predicted, but if the Bears can get a 10-win season, and sadly, even if the Bears do miss the playoffs, a 10-6 record, honest to God, is not bad. It would suck that you missed the playoffs, but it'd probably be because you maybe lost a game to the Packers or you lost a game to the Vikings or the Lions. Now, again, that's just my predictions. The teams that I think are going to be bad, who knows? They could end up being pretty good. But I think the number one thing is the fact that the week 1 matchup is a huge game just to win. I feel like the week 1 game will determine how the season will go. If we do not beat the team in front of us, which is a retooling/rebuilding Tennessee Titans team, it could be another long year after all the hype and the fanfare. But if they do win, I'm not as worried. If we can go after this, as long as we're not going into the Colts game 0-2, I am fine. I am 100% fine. If we go into the Colts game at 1-1, I'm great. I would be completely ecstatic if we go into the Colts game at 2-0 because that will just tell me we're doing something right. I think the first couple of games, to be honest, I think Shane Waldron will rely on the running game and will have Caleb Williams do what he can and not make Caleb Williams do too much. But when you see later on to the season, when Caleb Williams has a better grasp of the offense, that's when I think they'll start to open the playbook a little bit more and they'll be like, all right, do what you basically did that got you here. Do what you did at Oklahoma, do what you did at USC. Basically. But my prediction is the Bears finish the season with a 10-6 record. Again, we don't know based on how other teams do. That potentially could be a wild card team berth right there. That could be a wild card berth. If the Bears somehow play better than that, listen, I will take it as well. If the Bears play worse, well then there's going to be questions and rightful questions that need to be fucking asked. And then I need to start questioning, is Eberflus going to lose his damn job? Now, personally, I said the moment you drafted Caleb Williams, you might as well stick with Matt Eberflus for about the next 3 years. You got to have something consistent going on. You have to have something consistent. And if he gets fired, well, that's not going to lead to some consistencies. Plus, you're getting rid of the entire offensive staff, and here we are resetting everything again. No. So I think even if for some reason we have a bad year, I could see it to where Poles gives Eberflus one more chance because this will be Eberflus's third year, and a fourth year will be all right, dude. You got to prove it to me. You got a second year quarterback and Caleb Williams who's talented. And if Caleb Williams does play good and we still miss the playoffs and we don't play effectively, well then or we lose more games than win games, but Caleb Williams plays really damn good, well then I could see where Brian Poles will give Eberflus one more year, and if he can't get it done, I'll be looking for my next coach, and hopefully it will be an offensive minded coach. And again, and we'll see if Shane Waldron does really good. You can make the argument maybe Shane Waldron ends up potentially getting the job. I'm just saying, if Eberflus stinks up the joint, but the offense still plays really damn good, and we have a losing season, same thing happens again. We play good football on offense, but again, all right, you let Eberflus go, but maybe you think about keeping Waldron around as your head coach and hiring him as the full-time head coach, because why get a new head coach that would make Caleb Williams learn a completely new offense? But we'll see. I hope the Bears are competitive. I hope they're good on offense, and I hope they're solid on defense. And I hope the Bears go out there, beat the teams that they need to beat. Hopefully the Bears get a win against the Packers. I just want one. Right now, I won't ask for two. I just want one. Just give me one, and then preferably the home game. But if it comes down to a must-win game at Lambeau, well then shit, you got to win that game too. But it should be a winnable. We have the third easiest schedule in the league. So it's doable to see why we potentially could be a potential playoff team, even with a rookie quarterback, which would make it back-to-back years in the NFL where a rookie quarterback takes his team to the NFL playoffs. So we'll see. We will see. That's all I gotta say. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on my thoughts about the Bears schedule. What are your predictions for the Chicago Bears? Do you think they will go far? Do you think they will make some noise and shock some people, or do you think they'll just do what they've been doing and the hype was just there for a season and stuff like that? But hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears content. Again, I'll do weekly game recaps after every Chicago Bears game on Sunday or Monday or even Thursday night, even though I'll be dying, but whatever. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day, night, or when you're this video. Peace.